So I was just chilling on stream. We're just puttering along. I'm playing some matches, trying to win the Champions League with Tottenham. Impossible things that we're just trying to accomplish here. And all of a sudden, the news just breaks while I'm sitting there on stream. News that I would have never, ever expected. It's kind of rare that you get news like that, too. There's always different types of news. The news that you absolutely saw coming. The news that you predicted so you look smart, but maybe other people didn't see coming. The news that you were one of those idiots that didn't see it coming, but somebody else had been telling you the whole time, and you have to go, ah, yes, that annoying guy from work. Fantastic work, my man. You did great. Now leave me alone, Phil. No offense to the Phils out there. But this was one of those complete blindside. The first time you see it, first time I saw it, because I'm, looking at Twitch chat, right? First time I saw it, I thought it was a joke. Or the first time I saw it, I went, oh, or like maybe it had happened in my football manager game, but not actually in real life. Because Mauricio Pochettino, it was announced while I was live, is left Chelsea by mutual consent, which on the surface, with everything that the public knows, is stupid. It makes absolutely no sense. There are people that are attempting to embrace this. There are people that are trying to spin this as a good thing. But let me hit you with let me hit you with the hangover in the morning after you celebrate an idiotic decision, right? And that would be cold hard facts. Cold hard facts is the hangover from that. And let me hit you with a few. 8 wins in the last 12 league games, 5 straight wins to end the season, and clinched European football despite somehow being in 11th the entire year. Maybe you need some more facts as to why this is stupid. Chelsea gained 19 points from where it finished last season. I know that most of this season felt dour, and it felt like Chelsea was a banter club, because it was. Because Chelsea was easy to make fun of over the course of this entire season, and they have been for years, let's be entirely honest with ourselves. Ever since they won that Champions League, they've just turned into that one team that everybody gets to make fun of for free and goes, well, at least we're not Chelsea. That's what they've been, except this season compared to every other team in the Premier League, they had the best point gain of all of them. No other club in the Premier League ended with more points this year compared to the points they had last year. 19 is massive. Even the mighty Manchester City hit 2. Liverpool had a huge turnaround this year to being into the title race in the last couple of matches of the season. They had a plus 15. Aston Villa's in the Champions League for the first time since the reign of King Arthur, and they had a plus 7. Plus 19 is remarkable. That is a great season, and it is why it is important, if you are actually somebody in charge of a club making these types of decisions, to keep that sort of thing in front of you, because it is not like Mauricio Pochettino put together this amazing, I wouldn't say amazing, but this impressive season at the helm of Chelsea, right, in a vacuum. He managed to do it in a tornado, right? He managed to do this in the eye of the hurricane, which, if you actually know anything about hurricanes, which me being from Florida, I do, the eye's actually pretty sick. There's actually no storm there at all, and then all of a sudden the wall of the eye of the hurricane hits and you're just in the worst part of the storm again. It's interesting. So he wasn't in the eye of the hurricane. He was in the wall. He was getting smacked around like one of those giant spinning things just hitting you in the face every 2 seconds, right? That's what was happening to Pochettino all year, because he's getting clowned on. He's got players about to punch each other over a penalty. He's got a laughing stock of a structure around him, and he still managed to produce a team that plus 19 from last season, a team that finished the season strong, led by a young star. Cole Palmer is a star. And there are 2 things required to be a star: production and gravitas. Right? A lot of people call it aura, but I'm going to take it back to the Roman Empire, since you probably haven't thought about it today, and go with gravitas here. He has both of those things. You need the production, because you actually have to be a good player to have the second thing. You need the gravitas, because that gets not only an inspiration, it offers an inspiration for the rest of your team and your fans and whatever, and makes everybody believe that good things are around the corner, that good things are going to happen. But it intimidates the opposition as well. When you're going up against Lionel Messi, you already know what's about to happen, right? Like if you're an MLS player, you just, whatever God you got up there, it's time to appeal, right? And Cole Palmer, while he is obviously not Lionel Messi, is somebody with gravitas. He's somebody that is at least smoking hot, right? He is white hot. And I'm not just talking about how pale he is. I'm talking about the heat level. He is unstoppably good right now. then that is why he's probably going to end up in the Euros team, even though a year ago that would have sounded hilarious that Cole Palmer was in the Euros team. Now, all of that coming together to point out something very interesting. that they said that this was mutual consent, that these two sides have parted by mutual consent. Now, if you are succeeding the way Mauricio Pochettino was succeeding, and you are at the helm of a large collection of talented young players, spearheaded by Cole Palmer, who is a budding superstar, why would you want to leave? What is the mutual consent part of this? Why would you want to leave this situation? What better situation are you going to find out there unless Bayern Munich's invited you for a job interview? Like I don't think there's much of anything that you could find that would be better than managing Chelsea. I mean, you want to talk about a club that's willing to spend to back up your ideas. It's there. You want anybody, you can sign him. And that's why I believe that this actually might have been mutual consent. Now, you're probably wondering, well, didn't you just argue against that? No. What I'm saying here is that all of the publicly available information makes this stupid, which means, since I don't believe Mauricio Pochettino, or as hard as it may be to believe, I don't believe the Todd Boehly and assorted other dudes are complete idiots, there's something behind the scenes that makes this make sense. Now, it might be a stupid thing behind the scenes, but there is something behind the scenes that makes this make sense. Right? I remember seeing this video a little while ago. It took me a while to find it, but this is Mauricio Pochettino absolutely airing out Todd Boehly, which, one, hilarious. Here's Pochettino, just doesn't dap up Boehly, goes right to the next man past him, which is actually, as far as I understand, like the other co-owner. And it's not clear if Pochettino saw Boehly was even there. But if I know anything about billionaires, it's that their ego is massive. And if you damage it at all, that's going to be a problem. And if this was some sort of veiled statement from Pochettino, it could have just been a mistake. It could indicate the type of underlying issues that need to exist in order for something like this that just doesn't make a lot of sense on the surface to happen. Because on the surface, it makes absolutely no sense. Now, Mauricio Pochettino is a good coach. Mauricio Pochettino is also allergic to trophies, which is why I believe that he has an opportunity to go to Bayern Munich, because they seem to be collecting those types of people, right? They seem to want Dyer and Kane, and boom, just bring in Pochettino. You complete the set. You're only missing like one or two more Infinity Stones. If you get Son Heung-min, you're basically all there. Somebody figure out what Lucas Moura is doing. He'd make an excellent addition to Bayern Munich, don't you think? But no matter what the issue is behind the scenes, it is possible to hate each other and work together as long as the results are successful, a la Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, right? Shaq in the NBA. Hated each other's guts for a long time, won multiple NBA championships together, and lived a good life. I'm sure there's a million examples of that sort of thing in sports, right? Obviously, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, but like they managed to succeed a lot while they were playing together. And regardless of what the issues were behind the scenes, they should have stuck this out. I mean, to be very honest with you, they should have stuck this out because it was working, right? I mean, everybody was laughing at them, and that's fine because they deserve to be laughed at for a lot of the season. But when you sit back and look at the season compared to what they did last year, it was working. The teams headed to the Europa League. Or the Conference League, but I don't know. There's like 8 of them now. I have no idea. They're going to Europe somewhere. They might be playing in Latvia, but they will be there. They require a passport to be there. Now, they didn't before. It's awkward. Don't really ask about it. But I know I said everybody in this story wasn't an idiot, but somebody was. Right, because they don't think they're an idiot in their own mind because they had a reason. But I'm just going to point it out that the reason's stupid. Whatever the reason was is stupid because it was working and they should have continued what was happening. Right? I mean, they're going to continue to spend more money because they're going to be able to, they can only defer the payments 5 years now. So they're not going to spend $500 million, but they're going to continue to spend money because that's just something that Chelsea is addicted to. But unfortunately for Chelsea fans or anybody else, they're also addicted to firing managers. This is somehow, even though it's a completely different manager group or like management group than you had with Abramovich, just a continuation of the Chelsea legacy. I mean, you're looking at somebody like Oscar, who won a bunch of trophies at Chelsea, had like 4 different managers, and I believe around the same number of years while he was at Chelsea. Even when Chelsea is at its most successful, it is a meat grinder. It's the Battle of Verdun of managers. And then once you finish that, you go to Watford, and that's the Somme of managers. You just get churned through, and then all of a sudden you're gone, right? It's all quiet on the Western Front, except it's Pochettino's face, grime-covered under the helmet, looking absolutely shell-shocked out of his mind. Now, Pochettino, I do think, was part of this. He is somebody somebody that is capable of rubbing people the wrong way. He's not Jose Mourinho or Thomas Tuchel in that regard, but we saw this sort of thing happen at PSG. He's somebody that can anger certain people with the way that he kind of strong hands things. And maybe just they believe that that was having some sort of adverse effect on the locker room. But you know what? Those guys kind of need some discipline. It seems like they do, right? If you almost come to fisticuffs over a penalty, you're not a team that's putting the building blocks in place for wild success. Now, I'm obviously stretching one incident out a little too far, but the signals coming from Chelsea for a lot of the season were disjointed at best. This is weird. History will judge how exactly this is all going to play out, but this does not make a lot of sense to me, and I am very curious as to where Chelsea goes. I would like to point out Jose Mourinho is available. So is Thomas Tuchel, according to what he said at the end of the season. So you could get either part twos from there, or they love the McKenna guy at Ipswich. Everybody seems to. He is apparently the darling of the world because he led a team called the Tractor Boys to the Premier League, which when you say it out loud makes sense. But my best bet, based off of their history so far, is that Chelsea is attempting to do what a lot of teams in the NFL do. The NFL being the National Football League, American football, where they will hire somebody that looks good, speaks well for the cameras, is under the age of 40, and can sell you this sort of new age long-term vision. But you know what? West Ham didn't win a European trophy with one of those guys. They won it with David Moyes. You do not have to get a smooth-talking, attractive dude under the age of 40 to be successful. But I have a feeling, and according to early reports, Chelsea is going to go for somebody just like that to try and get their Sir Alex Ferguson. But unfortunately, they only make one of those, right? And if you're going to find your long era of success, you're going to have to do it your own way. And that best option might not be the hot dude under 40. Just take off the horny goggles and find yourself somebody that's the best person for the job. The problem is, I think you might have just fired them. Anyways.